Hello everybody. I want to start with saying this Happy New Year, and may you accomplish everything that you desire in 2020. For me, it's like I feel that it's going to be a big year in terms of accomplishing my desires. If life is about that, it might be about accomplishing your desires. Today's topic is called the ego and the higher self. I'm going to speak about the ego and the higher self, how you can combine the two in order to reach a new level of presence, a level of being, because being for me is so important, like relaxing in this crazy ass space-time reality maybe. I'm going to start with defining both, and I'm going to start with the ego. By the way, I feel like I haven't done a video in a while, and I think I lost a bit of skill. I must get familiarized with it again, okay? So please, maybe not please, I want you to enjoy this video, and let's step into today's topic actually. The ego. What is the ego? Interesting question. The ego might be who you think you are at a mental level. Maybe you have been called something in this life. You have been called a boy, a girl. You have defined what your age is. You have defined what your, maybe you haven't, but you may have defined what your mental processes are, who you think you are. I think the ego is about your identity, okay? And when you hear about the ego, you might say, oh, this guy is talking about the ego, now the ego is a bad thing. No, the ego is not a bad thing. The ego actually is about choices, maybe. It's about the separation, okay? Because they say the universe is all one, but at some level, maybe the universe is also separate from you for you to actually realize that oneness is real, okay? So when you have something in contrast, like left and right, you must experience left in order to realize and acknowledge what right is. So I guess that the ego is only there for you to realize that you are not actually your ego. But sometimes the ego is something that you must experience in order to reach a new level of presence. I have experienced ego. I have experienced resistance. I have experienced fear, trauma, anything, crisis. That's okay. And I realized that my ego was attached to it. I was attached to it. I was in a crisis, but then that crisis pointed the other side of the coin, which is peace, which is heart opening, which is higher vibration. Okay, so now I'm gonna define what the higher self is. And maybe there is no right or wrong way to reach your higher self, or to dissolve your ego, or to integrate the ego. And for me, the higher self is really that guidance, that presence, that existence itself, that oneness. Okay, so again, the ego is about separation, and the higher self is about connectivity, connection, okay? So how do you reach your higher self, and how do you let go of your ego? First, you have to define what your ego is for you, because I realize I'm telling you something, but this is only my perspective. This is only my experience, okay? You have your own unique way of finding answers, okay? So the answer might be outside of yourself, but also the answer might be inside of yourself. So there is this combination of two things in almost everything: duality, polarity, masculine, feminine, okay? So in order to integrate the ego and connect back to your higher self, you have to define again what it is that you are trying to reach. What is it that you are trying to become? And the funny thing is, and the paradoxical thing is, that you have everything that you need right here, right now. Maybe this is what the higher self is trying to teach me. That I have everything that I need right here, right now. In this present moment. In this moment of shooting the video, I have the inspiration. I have the knowledge. I have even the camera. I have the camera. Okay, so realize that once you find happiness within, and this is the higher self. The higher self is trying to teach me that once I find happiness within, I have a bunch of things that I can choose in order to express myself, in order to accomplish my desires, in order to love other people, in order to love myself, okay? I am not even sure that you need a practice for this. It is just a belief, it is just a feeling, it is just an emotion, okay? So what I suggest for you guys is to realize that you are actually more than you think. This is what the higher self is saying. You are more than you think. And in my experience and in my own spiritual progress, I have realized that I am it. I am everything, actually. But I can't really say that I am everything, because again, maybe the ego comes in and says, okay, you are maybe separate. I have to experience that as well. So in order to integrate the ego and the higher self, I believe that you must experience both. Okay, so nothing is random. Your thoughts may not be random. It is only a guidance. Okay, each moment is a guidance. And maybe you might think right now that fear may come up. Okay, how do I reach my higher self? I have to face my fears, maybe. I have to be true to myself, maybe yes. But again, you have your own experience, you have your own way of reconnecting back to your own self. So the higher self is like your main spirit guide. The higher self is actually you. I've talked about this in another video. But the combo, right? So don't live in your ego, live in your higher self, and realize that again, the ego might be necessary. It might be necessary for you to reach the higher self. So what is the higher self again? The higher self may be the observer, the passive and the active observer. Because there are some times in life when you have to be passive, relax, and there are sometimes in life when you have to be creative, action, push-ups. Okay, so realize that none is bad or good, because there is no good or bad. It is just energy. It is just a reflection of your own perception. Okay, so everything that you perceive is not good or bad. It just is, because life just is in this present moment, in this beautiful awareness. Okay, so I have defined what the higher self and the ego are, what the higher self and the ego are. Now let's move into the important part, which is how to connect to your higher self. They say that it is a time of awakening here on the planet, and it really is. People are really getting back to their own nature, to their own spirituality, to their truth, which is, again, you can define that. Define what your truth is. I can't say what your truth is because you have your own. There are as many realities as people on the planet. You have your own truth. You have your own unique way of listening to yourself, of connecting back to that higher inspired being of yours. Okay? So again, in connecting to your higher self, you have to realize that the more you want it, the more you are blocking it, actually. I've just listened to a video of Alan Watts, and he was talking about nirvana. And the paradox, what he was talking about was a bit of a paradox. He said that The only way blocking you for attaining nirvana, the only way blocking you from reaching your best version is the fact that you are attached to it. Okay, in a way you are sending that to the universe. When you want it so bad, yes, it might happen, but don't be attached to it. You can have desires, but don't get attached to desires, because that is suffering. So this is what my higher self is saying. In order to connect to your higher self, you have to listen to your heart. Okay, there are things that feel good. That is the higher self guiding you. Okay, so the higher self for me is pure positive focus. The higher self for me is pure love. It is love. The higher self for me wants me to speak myself up, to find the best solution. Okay, so in order to connect to your higher self, you have to let go. What does let go mean for you? Leave that in the comment. Tell me what letting go means for you. For me, it means two things. It either means that I have to relax, or it either means that I have to face my fear and really go for it. Two ways. So the ego and the higher self. In order to connect to your higher self, you also have to be authentic. Okay, it's not all about positive and light. In order to connect to your higher self, you have to open your mind to all kinds of possibilities. Life is about variety, right? Life really is about variety. Okay, so you may have a certain belief system, a certain way of operating. Yes, grow that, but also be available to all kinds of belief systems. Because there is change. In life, you always change. You are never the same. Okay, so maybe the higher self is also about change. So realize that you are always shifting. Nothing is static. If you are experiencing something negative right now, it is not there to stay. It is only a lesson for you. I have experienced all kinds of negative things. Bad trips. All kind of crisis. But it was only a lesson for me. Okay? So again, in order to connect to your higher self, be yourself, stay authentic, stay open to all kinds of belief systems, and also very important, relax while being. Osho was talking about relaxing into action. That is such a beautiful thing, to relax into action. Also, in order to connect to that higher being of yours, you don't have to be so hard on yourself. Stop doing things because you have to do it, and start doing things because you love to do it. Okay? Step into radical action, maybe. So open your heart, feel comfortable. This is what I am saying. I'm not about hard work. Even though I feel that I need that at some level, because it strengthens me, it gives me strength. But at some level, I know that I am safe. The higher self also wants you to know that you have always been safe. That there is a part of you that has never been hurt before. That is your beingness. Okay guys, so this is it for today. I have defined what the ego and the higher self is, and the important part was how to connect to your higher self. Okay, so you are not your thoughts, you are not your ego. You are being, you are just being. And in these videos, I am trying to offer you a perspective. But this is only my perspective. This is only my reality. And the more that I stay open to change, I realize that everything changes. Okay, so even you change, guys. You change a lot. And again, stay open. Connect back to your higher self, while being yourself, while listening to your heart, while not being so hard on yourself, and realize that you are loved, you are protected, and Happy New Year, and see you on the next video, and thank you for watching, and if you have reached this minute in this video, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching my videos, and see you. I want to see the best version of yourself. Make sure you focus on that. Much peace, guys, and I love you. Ciao.